Okay, hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're well. Welcome back to Rusty Rails. It's been a while, ain't it? I thought today maybe I could just show you how I make one of my products, because it is currently 32 degrees in this studio and it's just gone 11 PM at night. Let's get on with this video. Alright, hey guys, so you may know it looks a bit different. It's because I'm shooting on my GoPro, because my Blackmagic big camera, I have a commercial to shoot tomorrow and I don't want to use up all my SSD space. So it's actually better me shooting this on a GoPro because I'm going to be doing long recordings. Yeah, my Blackmagic, because it's a cinema camera, 1 terabyte will not last past half an hour of footage. That's 1,000 gigabytes per half an hour of footage. So before we start, I just need to say a huge thank you to Rocket Railways for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check them out. The link is in the description. They are literally a one-stop shop for all your model railway needs. That is, unless you like Rusty Rails projects. But I joke, they actually stock nearly all the Rusty Rails stuff, so even if you like my stuff, head over there. Let's get on with this video. Okay, sorry if you hear like, it's the fan, it's like 1,000,000 degrees in here. Yeah. Somebody posted something about DB Cargo, and it's the franchise that I tend to model. And I thought, I only know their Toton depot. I don't know their Nottingley depot. So I googled it, and this came up, and I was just having a look at a few of these, and I'll open this in a new tab. I don't open a damn image in a new tab. Oh. So when I was going through, I was looking at these two images. What do you notice about these two images, apart from that there is a Class 66? They both have these weird starey things. I don't know what this is, or what you'd call them, access platforms. I don't know. I've only seen them modelled a couple of times in 00 gauge, and I think it's one of them is a kit sort of thing, and it's a bit hit and miss for the beginner modeler. I want to try and create one of these where you can take it out the box, spray it with some chrome spray, chuck whatever, you know, a bit of weathering on it. So let's make one of these, and this is how we go about it. Okay, so when it comes to designing a product, obviously I look on the screen at what we're building. In this case it's the frame. Now the first thing I need to look at, or the first thing that comes to my attention when I look at this, is the thinness of this frame. This can be a problem for two reasons. One, packaging and shipping. I don't want it to get crushed whilst it's shipping and stuff. Second issue is when it's this thin, it can create warping issues when 3D printing. Yeah, it's one of those videos, so if you're not into the technical stuff, maybe watch something about train spotting instead. So how a resin printer works is you have a vat like this, and in here is resin. Underneath this resin, right here, this is a really awkward angle to be drawing at, LCD that is UV whatever, right? It flashes UV light, and this UV light cures, oh my god, my drawing is wobbly as hell. I cannot do this on the side. This is the build plate, right? This dips down into the resin where this LCD cures the layers that stick to the build plate, and it just lifts up and out. Now the thing is when it's doing that, when you're printing like larger objects or multiple of objects, you will hear and that's the sound of layer peeling off the bottom of this vat. It's called the FEP, which is basically a clear film. The suction forces can be a bit of an issue. There shouldn't be any vacuum sucking. It's not like a hole shape that's creating a vacuum. It's more of a frame, so that's not an issue. But what is an issue is the fact that nearly the whole center of this platform is unsupported. It's a frame, it's a very, very light frame. And the packaging thing, well, I'm just gonna see how well this prints. Yeah, is what it is. So that's my main concerns prior to the build. Now, let's get on with the build and let's make a product. Good news, everybody. It is now dropped below 31 degrees here in the studio. The 57% is the, we're good. The 57%, that's the humidity of the room. That's more for my 3D printing and the filming and stuff. But yeah, we're below 31 degrees. Okay, so a few eagle-eyed among you may have noticed I have a Class 66 here, because sometimes when I'm modeling, such as, what's the last thing I did? The gas canisters I just released, these ones, they were made in 1:1 scale. We input the size of that and then it scales it down to the 00 gauge for me. However, in things like this, there's not really a specification, and doing my research, there is so many different types, sizes, scales, shapes, whatever, right? Some of them are two person wide, you know, so what would you say I am? Fat. Leave it at that. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and keep this at the 2.5 foot, because 00 gauge is 4mm to every 1 foot in real life. So I'm looking at this guy in front of the train here. I think he's got a camera. I'm not too sure, but I'm looking at him and I can see that his shoulder is coming up to the bottom of the yellow bit on the locomotive. I can use that as a reference to use for height. What software do I use? It's called Autodesk Inventor. It is a very, very industrial application. But no, this is the software I learned when I was 15 in school as part of my CAD, and well, I'm 26 now, so yeah, I've been on this for almost 10 years. So it's gonna be slow because of the heat and because I'm recording the screen, so let's prepare for an ass fucking. I can't say that on this. Let's prepare for an ass whooping. There we go. Alright, okay, so first thing I'm gonna do, just looking at the image now on the right, and it seems to me like it comes to the back of the door. The distance from the back of the door is literally 4.5 centimeters. I'm gonna model it at 4.5 for now. You can see here from the top down box, that already looks really long. I'm actually gonna go back to this 6mm, and now the length of it seems a bit more appropriate, literally 1/2 mil thick. This is just nothing.
No, it's just a bit higher than I thought, that's all. No.
Okay. It's got hotter, it's 32 degrees again. That's what I've done. Okay, so here you can see I've done a few little wheels, a few strengthening port bars. I know these ones here, bar here goes parallel to the handrail, and this one goes straight down. That's purely when it prints, it's less of an angle, but for the most part, that's it. I made the stairs shallower or steeper. Close that, minimize that. Okay, so now we need to slice it. And to do this, we use Bots. Now my damn computer's froze. This is wrong when computers get too hot, they just freak out. And then also, I like to orientate my models 30 degrees. Now it's too hot to go into a 20-minute explanation to why, but just trust me, that's what I do. Let's just try this way. So I'm gonna put heavy support on the main corners. See, it's at this point I have to look, there's a lot of supports here. Okay, so it's now the next day. I decided not to film anymore that night purely because I just needed to wait till the daytime before I could print. I thought it's not worth me filming myself dragging and dropping a file on a USB, but what I have done is the USB is now in here. This is now filled with resin. This has been dipping in and out for the last 1.5 hours. I'm not gonna lie, this is the second attempt. The first attempt, the supports decided to sort of stick to the side of it, so I reorientated it, added a few extra supporting beams on the top handrail. We're going to see how this comes out. Let's get those off the build plate. They seem to have come out quite nice. Oh, so these are just having a quick soak just to wash off the excess resin. Drop them in this isopropyl alcohol bath. It's going to dissolve the resin just a little bit, just enough so that the supports snap away. So these seem to have come out to the right scale and the right size, but there's a few things I don't like. One, they are very, very thin and flimsy. You can see that underneath here hasn't printed too well. Right underneath there, it's not great, and also the bars are pretty warped. Another thing I don't like, very accurate to the photo, but I'd prefer these to be a little bit higher. So I think what I'm actually gonna do is scale them up a little bit, make them bigger. See how warped these are? This would be very, very hard to post without it breaking, I think. So I might need to scale them up. All right, back to the drawing board. Okay, so I'm starting to like the size a little. Typically bigger, like the fence is at about the right height and it just seems nicer. Okay, so this is a bit like a Goldilocks. The first one was too small. This one was just too big. And then because of the way I'm printing them now, orientated like this, it doesn't need as many support. Now when I look at the size of these to the locomotives, they actually look like the locomotives are quite big object. And even when there's something next to it, it doesn't look like it's massive, massive. For this big one, even though it's got a beautiful height to it, it just looked dangerously high. Whereas this one now, it looks a bit more prototypical to what the height should be for something that's temporary structure. I think I'm gonna work on making these side cross strap a little bit thicker so they don't warp as much. We might just be done. I think that goes in the bin. And these guys go in the cure chamber. Okay, so I just did a quick little measurement. Thickness of this piece is, as you can see, 1/2 mil. But if we were to take the thickness of these cross beams, going from there to there, you can see that it's saying it's 300 mil. I think we need to thicken these up, do the same 500 as the back. And also, I've just noticed there's this weird gap here, so I don't know what that is, but let's fix that whilst we're at it too. Okay. When I did this video, I thought it'd be a nice little simple thing, such as like these recycling bins. I thought it'd be a little bit simpler, like here's the model, here I print, and there we go. I didn't think it would take 8 different renditions. See, like some have that X-beam, some have a bigger scale, some have a smaller scale, then that Goldilocks in the middle perfect scale. Yeah, finally. I think I've got it. This is where we are at now. So this is the 5th one, which was just too big. Stair size is a little bit big, and the height of the platform is, you know, above his head. And if he was 6 foot, that means this is 6 foot up in the air, and it just looks a bit too dangerous for this type of platform. You see how these are like very warped inwards, the kind of thing. Yeah, there you go. So you can see how warped they are. That is no good for what I do with rusty rails. Then came these ones. These are the right size. See, they come just below the door. They're not quite as tall as the guy himself. The step height seems to be very appropriate. You know, it's not too crazy. So these were almost there. These were rendition 7. It was the large one. I tried it with the single cross beam because it was just too much going on. As you can see, if I look down this, you can still see that the beams, or the cross beams here, are still warped inwards a fair bit. So these, no good. And finally I came up with these, which are very, very similar to these, except these cross beams are a lot thicker, so when you look at them from below, yeah, there still might be a bit of warping. There is hardly any. So now I need to work out how I'm going to package these up. So these are real nice, so what I'm going to do is just hit these with a bit of chrome and see how they look on there. Okay, so there we go, there's the product photo. Right, now we need to work out how we're going to package it. I made this morning, and what this is basically I'll put a bit of cardboard in here, hold it nice, and then I can just bend it. This will then sit in there, and it'll just provide a little bit of extra protection when it's in the envelopes. I think that's how I'm going to package it. So now I need to print quite a few of these, get them all packaged, and then I can upload them and put them for sale. Right, that's how I make a product, that's how I get it ready for selling. I am going to be doing another diorama soon. It's just I've been so busy with Rusty Rails. I'm going back on tour soon with my DJing, and so it's been crazy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay well, peace and love.